Guess what? We've been here before.
Oh God. Are you ready for this, Mook?
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Junkyard Digs. Today, one I have been looking forward to way too much, for no reason whatsoever, for way too long. The Plow revival. So here's the deal. As you can tell, it's windy as heck right now. It's also warm as heck right now, which, if you live in Iowa, knows we got some snow coming. It is currently Tuesday. Friday, we're supposed to get blasted with snow. We've got 1,000 things to do between now and Friday, so we basically have about 4 hours to get this sumbitch ready to move some snow and clear our driveway.
Yeah.
Like Mook mentioned, we've been here before. You revived the dump truck on this property.
Yeah.
Which is when we found the plow truck, obviously. So
yeah.
This has been sitting, I think he said about 5-6 years ago, they fired it up and some guy was gonna buy it but never did. So yeah, here we are. Looks to be a 77, judging by the grill, F-150 Custom. This truck is 4-wheel drive, it is rusty as hell, and it does have a snow plow that does turn. I didn't think it turned, hell yeah. Coming inside, we've got green on green on green, with a little bit of white here and there. Looks to be a NP205 transfer case, giving us 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low, which is great, that's the one we want. I just realized we don't have any keys, so this is immediately problematic. Might be hot wiring this one for now until we can get the keys from the guy. Oh, hang on. Haha, we're set. We got keys. We got a battery. We got some gas.
We got our old sandwich clampers.
We got the sandwich clampers. Let's see if we get this sumbitch running, driving back home, and moving some snow. Step one, of course. Ooh, we got no brakes.
We don't need those though.
Helping us get the job done out on the site today, we have decked their truck box system. Well, it's 2,000 pounds on top. It has smooth rolling drawers and holds everything you need to get everything done wherever you are. As well as, of course, our Tang Tools portable toolkit. You can check these out at tangtoolsusa.com and decked.com. Let's get a battery in this thing and see if it spins. Oh my God, I think it's 15 pounds of poop now. Holy crap.
Literally.
I'm gonna guess this is the ground point.
Oh yeah, this was the truck that had 2 of everything.
Yeah, because of the plow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 2 coils even. And 2 ignition boxes. You're not kidding, there really was 2 of everything. That poop is nasty poop. Like, poop's gross, but that is some next level shit. Literally.
Oh, I don't want that.
You sure?
It's the poo plow. That's what I'm calling it. The poo plow.
Should I just...
No.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
Boob. Get out of here. I got dang old snow to plow, you hear? Like, what lived here and pooped here this long?
Oh, I thought this is where you were camping.
Oh, heck off. Hope this is charged. Let's check our oil real quick. Seems to be made of oil. That's good.
Mine was made of water, so that is an upgrade.
You're 78?
I'm 78. Yeah.
Oh, we got fluid in the rears, so that's good. Maybe that's the fronts. I don't remember. Chevys and Fords always flip, and I just get confused a lot and make funny noises. I'm gonna go hit the key, see if it spins.
Okay.
It's a Duraspark, so if it's got fuel, it should light.
Dusty.
I was the happiest about it at first.
It spin.
But she spun. I even felt the power steering free up.
Heck.
It's Duraspark, so as long as the Hall effect sensor's working, the coil's working, and the Duraspark box is working, we should have spark and this should do something. Granted, that is a lot to ask for from a Duraspark system.
Well, if it doesn't work, just switch to the other box. Oh!
Come on. Work with me. Yeah, it sounds like she needs some more fuel. Come on. She's not wanting to idle for me. They're good fenders and a good cab.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I think the floor is long gone. And there it goes. Never mind. In you go. Do some good. We got snow to move. And, you know.
Oh, it's leaking.
Is it?
Yeah, we got a leak.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. We just got to pour it faster than it can leak. I never said it was a good truck. I just said it had a plow in the front of it.
Kevin, this is our best car.
It was $500.
Oh, these leaf springs are hacked.
Are they?
Yeah. Behind the wheel and they just go bonk.
I've never seen that. It's the helpers too. Cannot say I've seen that before. I mean, is it even a plow truck if it's not 7/8 rusted out and 3/4 broken?
No. That's what I was saying. You don't need brakes.
Oh, that's a good point.
The blade is your brake.
And it's gone now.
Oh. It's okay, you tried.
Alright, let's disconnect our fuel line and see if we're even moving anything. Come on, don't tear, don't tear, don't tear. Yes, that's what we want. Alright, Mook.
So,
let me know if anything comes out of there.
yep, there's fuel.
Did it start up right away or did it take a few
It
seconds?
took a few seconds.
Okay, maybe we just weren't primed yet.
Yeah.
We'll hook that back up. Hope it doesn't leak. It will. And then we'll try again.
Kevin, spoilers. Jeez. We're actually from 20 seconds in the future.
Yeah, I live 20 seconds in the future. I'm so frustrated all the time. I know it's not going to work ever.
You're just a grumpy old man. You are literally that movie called Grumpy Old Men.
Whatever.
Eat my shorts. That's Kevin right there.
Wasn't that in Minnesota?
Yes.
Excelsior? No, Wabasha.
Wabasha.
I've laid more pipe in this town than Wabasha plumbing.
I love that movie.
Alright, here we go. Come on, fuel. Damn it! If I crank and crank and crank, it gets just enough fuel inside to run for a second or two. What does that mean? How do I fix that? New pump, new lines, bad pickup in the tank, a bunch of shit I do not want to deal with today. Maybe, Mook, we can do the tried and true method of exuberant amounts of RPM to clear everything out.
Yeah! I love that method. Oh, that stinks.
We'll refill the bowls a few more times, see if this thing moves at all, or see if we got way more problems than I was anticipating, see if this is even possible. They said they had it running 5 years ago, so I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. Clearly it's a bit of a deal. But yeah, let's refill the bowls, see if the trans works. Maybe while dinking around with other stuff, it'll free up the lines and move more fuel. Let's find out.
Did you find buttons for the plow?
I did. I think. I don't know. I figured there'd be more than one switch. This one just says on off. What the hell's all this do?
Sounds like it's trying to work.
I'm gonna guess it's out of oil. I'm pretty sure it's chained up because it leaked and it would seep all the way down. So Chances are she's dry. Let's keep running this thing, see if our trans works. Oh, there we go. It was loaded. All right, there's 4 low. That should bring us out of the hole. Let's try that.
Oh!
I just feel like the truck's braking.
She jumped out of the hole, but holy cow.
Only on one end.
Yep. Oh man.
What?
The other tire didn't move.
Oh, did it oh, the axle's upside down.
Oh. Look at that thing.
It shattered the U-bolts.
Kevin, I don't know if this will drive home.
Shit. What do we do now, Mook? It's gonna snow.
Is it an appropriate time to scream yet?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Let me see this. Look what it did to the U-bolts. They're just gone.
It's almost like plow trucks were just beat to heck or something.
Yeah. The Finian angle. I really thought that would have worked. Weird.
Looks like we're gonna be shoveling snow.
Jesus. Let's go get the trailer, take this back to the shop, get some U-bolts, fix that calamity, and see if we can get this brakes working, fuel pump, everything we need to move some snow by Friday. High five, we broke an axle out of a truck. Iowa. Alright, that's fixed. Let's get this sucker back to the shop and get it ready to move some snow. Alrighty, it is the next day. We've got the truck here at the shop. It was a bit of a wild time unloading it, I'll say that much. The plow and the clearance with the trailer, they don't get along well when you drive on forward. Regardless, it is here. Nothing much has changed, except for I knocked the exhaust off with the forklift. But you'll have them. Called over to O'Reilly's this morning, got ourselves a carb kit ordered, got ourselves U-bolts, got ourselves a fuel pump. Another thing we need to address is the fact that the pump doesn't move worth a crap. By which I mean at all, really. Did some Googling. I think this right here is our fill port, so we should be able to top him off with oil, and then maybe he'll start working. The outside of the pump here, the body is the reservoir. The center is the cylinder. Here's your valve body, your solenoids, and your motor. So yeah, assuming those solenoids are working, I know the motor works. With some oil in that thing, and hopefully have a blade that moves around. That's kind of step one before I dig much farther, because if that doesn't work, why am I wasting my time on this? Like, look at this thing. That's part of the brake drum. Looking at these U-bolts, that's not a fresh brake like it is over there. Those have been broken for a long time. All of this is an example of what you don't really want to see in suspension. Like, that's obscene. Alrighty, we got some parts. We got ourselves some low temp blue hydraulic fluid. Now it's important that this is low temp because this does not run through a accessory pump, such as something in the engine bay where it can get warm eventually, or have a large reservoir that can get warm. It's right out here in the front of the truck freezing its ass off all day. So it's important that it's low temp because, as you can see, it's extremely thin hydraulic fluid. Let's go ahead and get this thing filled up and see if it works.
Oh shit, Kevin. Oh.
Mook's here too, by the way.
I didn't know you were recording.
I'm in a mess.
We're out of paper towels.
Oh, great. This is the new Junkyard Digs portable miniature bucket device for catching stuff that spills. You can check these out at junkyarddigs.com. I'm kidding, you can't. But what you can check out at junkyarddigs.com is our merch. Oh, I'm not. Here is our merch, which is on clearance right now, right, Mook?
Yeah.
We're getting rid of all of it.
Yes.
Why are we getting rid of all of it?
Because we are outsourcing, so it gets to you guys faster.
And more things, like
Yeah.
this hat, for example. And, hopefully, the big one.
Internet international shipping.
Hopefully. So yeah, check it out right now, junkyarddigs.com. Everything's on clearance. Once the store is sold out or at a much lesser volume than it is now, we will be outsourcing locally here, still employing small jobs, not some big international website. And we should be getting more merch and international shipping. Move it all?
No.
Change oil annually.
I might have missed a few.
It might be a little past. So I need to do some Googling and troubleshoot. I've never owned one. Heck. Okay, one more Googling has taught me that this is our B valve, as it's known. You have your A valve, your B valve, and your C valve. This controls your up. This one controls your left and right, which is where we're stuck. And the back one is your basically your release solenoid to let it go back down. So like I was saying, here's your A, here's your B, and the C is this one in the back. This is called an E47 pump. They have an E47, an E57, and an E60, and probably more, I don't know. Inside these we have some O-rings, as you can see, and some crap that I'm cleaning out of the threads, and some screens, and I'm going to guess a valve. I know, crazy thing to say, right? It looks like it can potentially be disassembled. Yes, I see there's a snap ring in here. Okay, I'm gonna pull this all apart, and then we'll come back when it's cleaned up and hopefully working. Mook's put a new accelerator pump on. Meanwhile, I am dealing with these valves, trying to get this one rebuilt. There's supposed to be some internal piece that's moving, and it ain't. Minor accounts of calamity later. I have that center pin thing out. I'm gonna clean this up, clean our bore up, see if we can get him moving again. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a whole bunch of holes in there, and that's what governs all the fluid based on the position this guy is within there. So, alright, a little bit of cleaning later. We've got a pin that moves freely. Hopefully that still seals. We'll see. Tolerances are a little looser than they were originally. But how are things over here?
Okay.
You got a new accelerator pump going in?
It's in process.
Okay.
I might have dropped one of these little guys in the engine bay, but we're not panicking yet.
Not even a little?
I need the flashlight.
Alrighty, as you can probably not see, but maybe, that little inner circle inside the little circle. Oh heck. He moves in and out with very little effort. So, this is repaired. I can go ahead and put it back on. This is just an example of, you don't need to be some master technician to do what we do. I don't know a goddamn thing about these. Couple proper Googles, and I was able to figure out what this was called, what it does, how it functions, and how to take it apart and fix it. So if you guys can use Google correctly, you can do everything we do here on this channel. All you gotta do is know what questions to ask and how to ask them, which is hopefully what we teach. It's kind of like college, like a real college, like what we went to for industrial technology at Iowa State. We're gonna show you how to do HVAC stuff and how to do industrial design and all this just a little bit, so that in the future, if you need to know it, you know it exists, so you can go Google it and you know how to look it up and how to solve your own problems. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this, and we'll run that pump again and see if it works this time. Why don't do anything now? Alright, cleaned up that Google gob of wires over there. Cleaned our positive a little more. Got a lock washer on this time, so it should bite. Give it a go, Mook. Oh.
Keep going.
Hang on. Something started glowing red right here. Go ahead. Stop. What the shit? Stop. What the hell is going on with this suddenly? Alright, I guess I need to clean that more. We got a new nut on there. Did some filing on all the contacts. Let's try it again. Why is nothing happening? Okay, left. Right. Oh, it did a little. Try up again. That was left.
I went up.
So, as you can tell, nothing's happening with the pump. I took the leads off and tested them all again, and I noticed the one that I cleaned is a lot louder than the other two. And kind of still only wants to go in the left and right direction. Like I'm getting fluid pressure, but it's stuck in the left and right elsewhere in the valve body. So I pulled our up and down solenoid off. And as you'll notice, I have movement, which is what I was hearing, but it's not the right component. It's supposed to be this inner ring again, this inner piston, rather. So, looks like I'm gonna have to rebuild all of these. Yes, it's moving. I've done it. All right, go up. Stop. Wow, it kind of just moved the truck down. It didn't really lift anything else up. God damn, that thing is heavy. All right, right, left. Try right again. Come on, you son of a gun. I know you want to do it. Down.
Holy cow.
Up. Right. Left. Yeah, we gotta deal with the right left, but for the most part, we're getting places. This thing finally comes off the ground and has signs of life, so that's good. Still looking for the problem, but this is why you need to change your fluid so often on these pumps. Now this one's an extreme case, but this seal up here doesn't seal the best, and water gets on that shaft and runs into the oil. And as you can see, this is supposed to be a blue fluid, like a bright blue like you saw earlier. So look at all the shit that came out of my hand. Yeah, not an ideal situation. So I'm sure we got all this crap all over my hand, gumming up all the seal or all the check balls and whatnot. So I'm gonna give this a good flush and pop these two filters out. Try this again. All right, draining our fluid, a little more research. I noticed that both lines are like building pressure kind of at the same time, and I'm like, God, there's gotta be some kind of a relief valve for when they're both running or something. A little more digging, sure enough, there's something called the crossover relief valve, which totally makes sense. And it appears to totally be stuck back here. So I'm gonna try to get this guy out and then get him freed up. There's probably a check ball in there and all sorts of stuff. More just delicious goo dripping out of this. So, I mean, it's not even draining back. Probably could use a full rebuild, but you know, it's supposed to snow in 2 days and God knows if I can even find these parts anymore.
Are you eating it?
What?
You said it's delicious goo.
Oh yeah, do you want to try some?
No.
It's been all of 24 hours. It's now the next night. We had a whole bunch of stuff pop up at a farm that we didn't expect at all. I didn't even get any of my editing done or anything today. Wyatt's here for the 3-day extravaganza we're filming this weekend, which will be out at some point. And I have to go step away and do everything. This still needs finished because it's gonna snow tomorrow. So, Jesse's here to film. Wyatt knows how to use wrenches. I know how to use a keyboard. We're gonna divide and conquer. Good luck.
So while Kevin is off playing smart computer person doing the toopity toop tubes, I'm gonna go in here, tap in our U-bolts. Hopefully I can get these in without getting tetanus. There is an alignment dowel on the top of these springs, or the bolt that holds the spring pack together. And it needs to line up, or be close to lining up, with what we're doing here. And I think I should be able to make this work, because what that alignment dowel does is it actually controls how the axle sits underneath the vehicle. If your alignment dowel is forward or aft of your alignment plate, your rear axle could sit like this, and you could actually run into a truck that dog walks down the road. So it's important to get that lined up, which I think is going to be a pain, but we'll come back to that. So now that Jesse's used his college education and brought some light into the situation so that we could all see, I was actually able to kind of tap the U-joint, or not U-joint, U-bolt around a little bit, and was able to get it to line up fairly close to what we're going to do. And when I go to pull these tight, it'll actually kind of line back up and pull it square, so everything should be kosher here. I'm also looking at these springs and thinking to myself, how is this truck still supporting the weight of itself? I have not seen springs like this ever. It looks like someone drug this off the bottom of the ocean. Plow trucks, man. This is where I smack my finger and say the big words. Okay, so this is the plate that sits on top of the axle here. and holds everything into place. If you would kindly note the gaping rust holes in this thing. She's here for a good time, not for a long time. Not gonna lie, I stepped outside and looked at the Mexican restaurant up the road and was like, I should stop and grab a burrito. But I also know Kevin's like, what? I need this truck done. Burrito. I didn't like burritos until I was like in college when you could buy them at a gas station for 89 cents, throw them in a microwave and be able to survive. Always remember where you came from and respect that 89-cent burrito. Because Lord knows it did not respect me. Wouldn't you call this mint? It looks more like excrement to me. Because excrement is poop and this truck is poop. You.
Suck.
What color is this? Would you say it's mint?
Yeah.
Like a mint?
Yeah.
Like an excrement?
I can call it just the poo plow, so that works.
Yeah!
Also, I just looked it up. We get snow at 6 a.m.
Seriously? Kevin's over here telling me, hey Wyatt, do a fuel pump. It's not even hooked up. Did you disconnect the fuel line from the tank? Yes. Okay. You can turn it back off now. Yeah. Oh my paste. That is like the stuff that I ate in elementary school when the teacher started yelling at us. Oh, ew. Yep. That is not good. Hi, Mom. I am a professional from 7 to 5, and I'm a hobbyist anytime after that. That'd be funny. Paint my beard red. Hey guys, on Junkyard Digs, we fill the bowl on a carburetor and start it. Accelerator pump's bad.
Such an accurate representation, too.
Oh no, it needs brakes. We're worried about the wrong hydraulics on this thing, guys. I fear that master cylinder has got a seized piston. I got no fluid movement. This may get pushed outside and saved for a later date.
Alright, so we're back with the plow truck. It's been 2 weeks. I don't really remember where we were with this. I see the master cylinder's off, and I know that the pumps still don't work. In the meantime, I have cornered the market on Meyer's E47 pumps. O'Reilly should be delivering a new master cylinder here in a few minutes, and then we can have brakes as well, hopefully. Probably not. I'll probably have to replace everything. But yeah, we'll get a new master cylinder on there, finally get the new fuel pump on, change out this motor, and see if this thing works. Okay, so after a bunch of cuss words and parts and pieces and little bits and whatnot, this one also had some seized valves and a seized bypass, but it's all working out and the pump is good to go. This is not our issue. That is. That damn ram has been seized this whole time. So I'm gonna try to get that off, take that over to the bench and see what we can do. That one might be out of my ballpark, but we'll find out. Alright, so despite my best efforts with the biggest hammer, that thing's seized solid, so that's going to the shop to get repaired. I'll take that over to the hydraulic shop tomorrow. As for the rest of tonight, let's focus on my favorite thing in the world, brakes. I swear, all I actually do for a living is brakes and film it. We got our new master cylinder. We're gonna hook some lines up to this and bleed it out, and then we're ready to put it on the truck. You guys have seen me do this 1,000 times. The best thing I can advise is to build yourself some of these. It's just a flare fitting on a little bit of hose, into a 3/8, and then I can adapt it up or down whichever way I want. And it's the stuff that usually comes with the master. It's the kit that has the little nipples, but the nipples suck. LOL. Throw those away and put these on, because these will not pull air like the nipples will. Just stick them in here. So I'll get this hooked up, fill this up, and get all of our bubbles out of our master. Alright, actually I do have another little tech tip. If you've ever wondered why these reservoirs are different sizes and which way to tell which one's what, the large one is always the disc brake. And the reason for this is disc brakes wear faster than drums. So you need to replace the fluid as your calipers collapse towards each other, as the patch then needs to have a larger reservoir to make sure you stay safe with your amount of fluid. Drum brakes last a lot longer than disc, so just remember the big one is the disc. Be it front or rear, doesn't matter. Big is your discs. Well, as you can see, a little time has passed. I got a haircut. It's actually been a week? I don't know, I've been gone for a while. We just raced 24 Hours of Lemons with the guys from Chedware this weekend. Had an absolute blast hanging out with them with cars and cameras. Can't wait to do it again or build our own car. I don't know, we'll see where that goes. More importantly though, all the parts have showed up finally and we're back on the plow truck to put a whole new brake system underneath this thing. So we're gonna go ahead and just get new brakes on here. This is something everyone's probably done before. Otherwise, you've definitely seen it on the channel before. So let's make this happen. Look how damn rusty these lugs are though. I oiled these already. That one was the easiest yet. Alright, we're back. There is something I actually want to talk about since this is four-wheel drive. It's worth going over the hub assembly and showing you guys how to dismantle that on a Dana 44 of this era. With that being said, when I usually do that, I'll do one side first off camera, so I make sure I got all the tools, tips and tricks, and I practice what I'm going to say. And then I go do the other side and show you guys with it essentially rehearsed. With that being said, I need to show you what came off that spindle. This side there was literally water coming out of it when I was taking it apart. Like, look at this spring. Look at inside the hub here. This collar, this locking collar. There was water inside this freaking hub assembly. That's a bearing. That is a bearing. This fell out when I was carrying it. I didn't know this was a bearing till just now. This is disgusting. It was no wonder I couldn't get that thing to cycle between free and lock. It's taking me like 2 hours to get this apart. Look at the inside of this seal. And just like, I've already scraped off a good amount to get to the bearing, which is stuck, by the way. I can't get this damn thing to either turn or come out, so that is the worst hub assembly I have ever seen in my life. So in our last video, you guys saw us change U-joints with a hammer. That is a way to do it. I've done it my whole life. I've never had problems, but a lot of people in the comments were like, hey, why don't you just use a hydraulic press? Haha, we don't have one. With that being said, someone else saw that and said, hey, we make these. How about you get one in your shop? And here it is. Benpack has sent their 20-ton hydraulic press. Looks beautiful sitting next to their brake lathe right here. We're going to use this in combination today to save us some money on this truck because, let's be honest, it's not worth any money. I'm going to use this to press our studs out so we can separate our hub from our rotor and then throw this on our brake lathe so that we can clean up our disc and have a nice disc to put back on the front of this truck. This is going to be so damn nice to finally own a hydraulic press. Holy crap. That's that easy? What? I've been doing this with hammers for how long, and it takes like a half hour and you ruin all the studs. Alright, finish this up, separate that hub from that rotor, and get this all machined up. Yes, you can go to O'Reilly's and buy this as one piece. It costs 90 bucks when I can just do this for free. So, yeah, we're gonna go for the free route. Alright, a quick look at our instruction manual showed me that I needed to dig through our box, pull out a couple more accessories for this large of a rotor. Got everything mounted up, should be good to go. Little adjustments, and in like 3 minutes, we're set up to turn rotors. I love it. This is the Benpack Ranger RL8500. This is a high volume, very big, beef-o-matic. Probably, if I had to guess, absolute best on the market you can find brake lathe. So I'm beyond honored to have this in our shop. Thank you, Benpack, very much. If you guys are interested in this, or a lift, or a hydraulic jack, air compressor, anything. These guys make a ton of stuff. Check them out, benpack.com. Let's get this sucker fired up and make some scratch cuts. Get this finished up, put everything together on this side. I did order new bearings because I imagine these are, you know, completely junk. These are destroyed. I don't think this was even spinning. You can see the marks on the tip of the bearing rollers right there. And if you look at the race, you can see marks where it was sitting, and they don't catch your nail, they catch your finger. So I went ahead and ordered new bearings and races. We'll get those pounded in, clean all this out. So as you've probably noticed, this video is kind of out of order as far as this brake's going so far. I'm dealing with the back half first since this one's so dirty and incredible. Riley's just dropped off new bearings and the wheel seals. I spent some time with the original gunk, my favorite, and a toothbrush, and gave this literally one pass. I scrubbed it down with a toothbrush, spent like 3 minutes on it, took it over the sink, rinsed out, and that sucker's clean now. What you see is casting letters, the word bud for some reason, and just some chunks of rust around there. Those don't really matter though, they're not near the races, they're just chilling in the center. This guy's good to go. Our brake disc is good to go. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and get the races pounded in here and then fill it with grease and wheel bearings. Ta-da! Rinse and repeat. Yeah, that's what those parts are supposed to look like. I do have a broken outer ring. We'll see what we can do about that. But everything else looks good. Minus all the pitting and, bajillion miles of plow truck stuff. Races are installed. Everything's clean. Everything seems to be good to go. We're going to install this back on the truck as we grease it up, one piece at a time, which will be the opposite of what we're about to do now, which is disassemble the other side, and I'll show you guys how to do that. A little bit of a backwards video here, but that's... I didn't know if the other side was going to be that dirty. I'm really hoping it isn't, but I just wanted to show you guys how crazy that was. Let's make that happen. Alright, so I finally got the other side wrapped up. On this side, I'm going to go through taking the hub assembly out. I'll clean it up, and then I'll show you how to reassemble it and show how this works. This is something we've never talked about on the channel, is locking hubs, or any kind of hubs, really. What I won't show on this side, I've already kind of showed in a non-linear fashion on the other side. So all in all, you've seen me pound in the bearing races and do the discs and all this stuff. So taking this guy off and apart and then reassembling him is all that's left. Let's make that happen. First things first, we're going to want to get our caliper out of the way. These 70s Fords are kind of unique. No one else really did this design. You're going to need your 9/16 wrench. You got a bolt right here on the back. You're going to loosen this one bolt. That's all it is. Now I should probably preface the fact that I'm leaving the old lines, the old rubber lines on. Usually I change these. I did order new ones. They're right here. If we do need to change them, I'll go back in and do that. But being that this is a plow truck, I can guarantee it's probably on its third or fourth set of brake lines. In fact, I can see right there, that's a nice new looking line. But if you do replace your calipers and whatnot, and you have issues getting stuff to bleed still, and if you have a new master cylinder and you're sure it's not the master cylinder, look into these. Generally though, you can push fluid through a rubber line when it's bad, but it will not return. What happens is the internal diameter swells shut, and when you press your foot down, you're creating hundreds of PSI, and it's forcing fluid open and through this tube. But the pressure created by the caliper wanting to return to its natural position is only a little bit of PSI, if any at all. Usually it's just returning flow, and that cannot push back. So what happens is you get a caliper or the whole rear axle, since there's one rubber line for both sides in the rear, your brakes will start sticking, and they'll stay on. You'll pump them up, and they'll stay on, and then you wait a day, and you come back, and then you can move the car again. If that happens to you, rubber lines are your problem. Okay. We've got that one bolt out. Now we grab our hammer and punch, and we knock this guy out. Now notice how easy this slides. Like, that's moving. Hang on to this, because chances are, and I've seen this more than once now, and it happened again to me on the other side, the ones you get with your new caliper are not the right size and do not fit on here. And I made the mistake of still trying to hammer it on, and this thing was seized solid and would have never ever moved, and it took me like a half hour to get that pin back out. So I put the old one back on, it's good to go. Slides around just fine. So you've got this little slidey rail deal and this springy doodad. Yeah, they sit just like that, and then that bolt holds him in. Once that's done, you can go ahead and fight the rust on the edge of the rotor. Oh, Okay, that's out. And I have one pad that sits right here in the back. We'll show you how to put it on when we get back to that. But for now, it's time to get this hub apart. So there's two types of hubs in life. A automatic hub and a manual hub. This is a manual locking hub. What this does is lock the axle shaft in the center to this outer housing right here, which is then in turn, of course, attached to the wheel. As you can see, if this works, it does. I am now locked with the axle, and here I am free. So good news on this one. Looks like I'm not going to be totally full of rust like the other side was. We've got 6 of these guys to take out, and then our actual locker cap here is going to be able to come off. And there's a whole bunch of brands of these. Like I said, there's multiple types. There's automatic and manual. Manual, you have a little, literally a turn piece right here in the center. Automatics usually are either always engaged or vacuum engaged, or back in the 90s they were like you drive forward a little bit and they kind of engage themselves, and then to disengage them you got to drive backwards. Those love to fail. I had a Ranger in high school that had those and they were junk, and for whatever reason I put automatics back on. I didn't know anything back then. Get your rubber mallet. Looks a lot better than the other side. Still needs cleaned up, but 1,000 times better. What fails is there's an O-ring right here, and there's an O-ring right here. And when those fail, water gets in there, as you saw on the other side. And there are service kits for that include this snap ring and new O-rings, and whether components may fail depending on what axle you have. Mile Marker makes a service kit for these Dana 44s. So all this guy is doing is when I turn this, you can see it's got 2 ramps right there. He is pushing in on these here, which I'll show you later when we get a little further in there, is disengaging a big cog on the back side of this gear. But I just want you to visualize what's happening when I turn it to lock or unlock now, so that it all kind of comes together for you guys. Okay, so as you just saw, I took a cotter ring off the axle shaft. This right here, which I just moved in and will cause myself a pain in the ass later. This right here is the axle shaft. It goes to a U-joint right here and then into the pumpkin on the axle. Right here, along the entire outside perimeter. You're going to want to find the gap. There it is. And be careful with this one. He loves to break. And right now, especially apparently, they're very hard to get. Because the other side was broken when I got in there already. So there we go. That guy's out. Now, there should be a spring back there that's going to push this whole assembly out as one. Beautiful. Look at that. So what we have going on in there, and it's hard to see because of how dirty it is, but you've got this guy here and this guy here. See these teeth on the outside ring? They match these teeth on this hub. So he's going to synchro mesh into that. And these teeth right here on the face match these teeth on the piece that's permanently connected to the axle. So when you turn that cap, you're pressing down on these 2 pins like I showed earlier. Oh, balls. It's really hard to see with that ring on. There we go. It pushes this back ring farther away from this front one, which is attached to the axle, and this one's attached to the hub. And now that hub can spin freely. It's got a big spring back here. So then once you release that tension, turn that dial back, and those pins move back forward, everything meshes, and now the axle and the hub turn together. If you've done anything with these in old hubs, you'll recognize this noise. You know that noise when you go lock your hubs in and they don't quite mesh right away? They sit like this, and you give it some gas and it just goes and then locks in, and that's pertinent more so with older hubs that are worn out. That one's actually really healthy, surprisingly. Yeah, fun stuff there. Okay, enough talking. Let's keep talking. So at this point, we're going to need a special tool. This is a 2 3/8 4-prong socket nut adapter ordeal thing. 21 bucks at O'Reilly's. You can go get one of these. It's going to sit right in there. I know you guys can't see it right now, especially since the sun just went behind a cloud. It's going to engage in a nut here in the back, specifically shaped as the opposite of the socket. And we can get that guy out. You're going to want a 90-degree pick for taking these apart. It makes life really easy. There's our first spindle nut. Now we will have a washer with a bunch of holes in it and a keyway up top. This helps keep tension on the second nut behind that, which is the one that holds your bearing preload and holds your wheel onto the truck essentially. There we go. You can see all the holes on him, and right there's the keyway. All those holes will align with a pin on that second nut, which I'll show you in a second. There's our pin. So once you torque this down, the appropriate bearing preload, you'll need to move it either direction just a little bit, usually loosen so you're not exceeding your torque value, and land this guy on the keyway, and this pin will land in one of these holes just like so, and it will not allow any of that to rotate because that keyway is on the spindle itself and that pin is in the nut. At this point we're done. We can go ahead and pull off our entire front disc. And as you can see, yeah, that is pretty dirty. I am going to go ahead and clean everything up. One last piece is this guy, which sits on the back of the outer bearing. Just like that, to keep stuff from getting into him to an extent. He sits right about yonder, and the other one's right here facing this way. Okay, we got everything off. Now it's a rinse and repeat for the other side. I'm going to clean all this up. We'll pound new races in, grease everything, and be back for reassembly. Alright, we have returned. I've got everything cleaned up. It is looking good. Bearing on the back side all greased up, good to go. A new dust seal, or wheel seal in there. Now we'll put our front side in. I threw a bunch of grease in between the bearings, like a few, 2 or 3 huge piles with a couple fingers. So now we're going to seat that bearing. Oh shit. And we're going to avoid getting stuff on the brake surface. Kevin. Good luck, little buddy. What that ring does is gives this spring something to sit on. And now we're ready to put our nut on. The one with the little metal pin is going to go first. We're going to get him in there. Make sure he gets happily started on these threads. There we go. Next we want to set the torque on our nut. Give him a rotation or two. Get the bearing grease to run out of the bearings itself, and you can really feel if it needs more or not. It does not. You should do this with a torque wrench. Mine's busy right now. I'm going to take our ring, find our cancellation in the spindle, and then see what we need to do. Oh, it landed perfect. You want to make darn sure that that pin is in a hole, because if it's not, that nut will not sit flush and it will not hold that spindle nut on. Next up we have our second spindle nut. This one just holds that ring plate in. Next up comes our spring. Now at this point we're going to start putting grease and everything after this guy gets in here. We're going to turn him back and forth a little bit, make sure he's all the way down into his home. Now the reason I'm showing reassembling this is because, yes, it's exactly like disassembling it, but everything's clean now and I can show you a lot better what's going on. So this guy, remember these work in union like such. This is the one that slips. This guy moves back and forth. This one does not move. He is grooved on the inside, as you can see, and is attached to the axle snub itself. And all those little grooves around the edge of this metal barrel are going to engage with this guy, like such. So when these two are held apart from each other, they can spin all day long. But you turn these ramps, once again, it lets that come forward, engages these teeth, and then this is now mechanically connected to this, and you are in four-wheel drive. All hubs follow that general principle of connecting the outside barrel to the shaft. The different brands use different materials. They do it a little differently here and there, just depending on the design or what axle it's on. Now there are such things like vacuum hubs or axles that are just on all the time, and the engagement happens in the transfer case only, like that Jeep we did last week. That has a live front axle that's on all the time, so you don't get the best gas mileage because of that. This gives you a little more mileage right here. There we go. If you're having trouble getting your snap ring in, like looks like you need to push it in farther, but you can't, grab your axle shaft and pull out, which is exactly what I had to do because I pushed it in the beginning, if you remember. I just about went to space. God, hold still, you slippery son of a... Oh, you bastard. Alright, snap rings in. And because grease is cheap and parts are not, we're gonna throw some more in. You can never have too much. Now for our ring that makes the magic happen. Just like that. Pushes that back piece away from that front one and gives us the ability to lock and unlock. Pretty cool, huh? Please don't break. Please be nice to me. Sweet. Turn this lock, line up the grooves in the casting with these teeth things right here, and send it home. Put our bolts in, tighten it all down, and we're done. Ready to go ahead and put the caliper on, hammer the old slide pin back in, new pads, clean that up. Front end is ready to bleed. Alright, I'm back. It's time to show you. I have found this to be a problem I'm running into more and more lately, no matter where I get my parts. My pads don't like to fit in their mounts. My solution has been to get a file and take the powder coating off the contact points and then, you know, grease them up. And then they go right in. Like this would not go in at all. And now, and it free floats like it's supposed to. So keep an eye out for that. If you're putting stuff together, especially with brakes and everything seems to be really hard to fit, where stuff is supposed to relieve itself from a caliper, something might not be right. Alright, we got anti-seize top and bottom for our slider points. As promised, here's how you install these brake systems on these Ford trucks. That's it. That's all it is. And you take this, float your caliper. Oh wow, that one went in really nice. Get that in there. I will use the new bolt. How about that? Tighten that down. Hook our line back up, which is mysteriously not gravity bleeding. I'm sure that won't be a problem. And then the front brakes and hubs and wheel bearings are done. We can finally move on to the back, get all that done. I'm going to do it off camera so I can get it done tonight because we are severely short on time. Alright, our new master cylinder is in, as you can see, and it's time to play with a new toy. I've been really looking forward to this one because this lets me do brakes at the shop by myself, which has always been a problem. I always have to find someone to help me bleed these. This is called the Fender Lizard. Kind of an odd name for what it is, but I'm sure there is a reason. I just don't know it. This is a tool that plugs into a 12-volt source. It comes factory with a cigarette lighter and pneumatic air. And what it has is this little key fob. And when I press this button, it actuates down. When I press it again, it goes back up. So what it does is pumps the brakes for me while I'm still under the truck running the other running the wrench and bleeding everything. So I can bleed my own brakes. Pun intended here, a total breakthrough for me doing brake systems. Alright, she's all set up. The cigarette lighter even works. Let's see how she do. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This is going to be so nice. Alright, let's see if we can get these bleeders opened up and bleed the front brakes. Alright, bleeders open. Closed. Open. Closed. And by the way, ladies, if you're tired of your man coming in and telling you to come out and help bleed brakes, you should get him one of these for a gift. This is freaking awesome. Fender Lizard, go check it out online. Let's finish up these brakes. What do you guys say? Good morning, Vietnam. So it's been a low numerical value of days since we were last here. Gave up on getting this finished for last week's video and did an emergency three-wheeler video instead. Go check that one out. It was pretty fun. Talked some good tech about three-wheelers, and then me and Mook went and tore it up out in the woods. So go check that one out. When we last left off, I had finished the brakes, and for the most part, they are done. All the new brake drums, discs, hardware, everything's on, everything's hooked up, and I've got the rears bled. You'll notice I didn't say I have the fronts bled. I ran into something I have never ever seen before. So if we come inside and we press our pedal, it only travels about, you know, the typical 1.5 to 2 inches before you get pressure in a non-boosted scenario where the engine is not running, creating vacuum in the vacuum booster. And the pedal feels absolutely perfect. However, there is no fluid whatsoever traveling to these front brakes, so cannot say I've ever seen that before. I got really confused while I was bleeding it, while I wasn't getting anything. I went in and pressed the pedal. Well, that's weird. Pressed it hard, and it went pop, and then I got like 2 good presses, and I got bubbles to come out. using our fender lizard. And about 3 cycles into it, it firmed back up again, and now we're not moving fluid. What I'm thinking has failed us is our proportioning valve, which is this blurry bit in the center of the screen right here. I'm gonna go into there and smack that with a hammer and see if I can get that valve to reset to the center. What it does is you'll have your 2 fluid inputs come into the top, or the top, and they will, I believe, flow on 2 halves of a centering valve. In the case of normal operation, that fluid will flow right past the thing. Everything stays centered and happy. You'll get fluid to go to the front, fluid to go to the back. This is not a divider itself. It's already divided when it leaves the master as 2 hoses. This valve is just sensing that the pressure front and rear is equal and nothing's wrong. Now, let's say, for instance, your rear brake lines rust out again, and you lose pressure in the rear. You still have fluid flowing because there's a hole, but pressure is resistance. And if there's no resistance, because there's no more brake line, you don't have any pressure. Well, what that proportioning valve does, it senses pressure in just the front, where there's resistance, and no pressure in the rear, and that pressure in the front drives that valve backwards and blocks off flow to the rear brakes. Your pedal's going to feel different. It's going to travel most of the way before you have anything, but you will still have some braking power in the front. This is a safety feature that's really important. What it will also do is when that valve travels to either extreme, it will close the contacts and turn the brake light on your dash. Now, if you guys blow a line, you've probably had your brake line come on, you bleed them, everything's working good, and sometimes you hop in, your brake line's still on. Hit your brakes hard a few times and it'll recenter that valve, and everything will be happy. Okay, well, to say I would know what's happening right now would be a lie. I'm more confused, but a little okay with what's happening. I took the line on the top of the proportioning valve. Like I said, fluid comes in from the master and then out to this rubber line right here. Not sure if you can see it, which tees off to these 2 on either side. I disconnected it at the top of the proportioning valve on the outlet side and hit the brake pedal, and it fought me and then moved and then moved and moved. It was still a little sticky and didn't really want to move perfect, but I'm like, okay, we've got a puddle of fluid on the ground. Let me hook this back up and see if I can bleed the brakes. No, actually, that's pretty good. I'm just not opening my bleeder far enough. So yeah, see that? Some bleeders take 2 turns before they let all the air out, so make sure you're getting a good solid flow out of there. So yeah, I guess I'll bleed these, and then our brakes will finally be done. And we can get our new plow cylinder that I picked up this weekend on, and finally get this green, rusty piece of trash out of the way so we can work on other stuff in the shop. Let's make it happen. Okay, so we've got fluid flowing to this side, everything's happy. However, I have none going to the other side. I loosened our fittings right there at the T, and I've got fluid flowing just fine out of that center hose and this hose, which means this long bastard on the other side needs replaced. Actually, real quick, here's a really simple sign of a healthy hose. If you open your hoses up and they gravity bleed like that and drain under the force of gravity, the inside's good to go. Neither of these did that, so they're getting replaced, but that center one, as you can see, is still just fine. All right, our new lines are on. I'm gonna assume you can't see it, but that hole on the side of that is completely plugged, so despite that line looking, like I said, really rather new, it's junk. The trick I could say I confidently learned on this truck is that if you open up a rubber line and it does not gravity bleed, it needs replaced. That's your surefire way of knowing right away before you even try to throw fluid down it that it's going to need replaced. So open this up, hit our button. I got good bubbles. There's fluid. Hell yes, this truck finally has brakes. Man, it's been a lot of work to get this one together. It's usually not this bad. I don't think it was solely the proportioning valve because I never did take it off and replace it. I just hit it a little bit to try to free it up. Got that rod to move a little, but mostly bled right above it. What I think was happening, since these were completely plugged, was that proportioning valve wasn't sensing pressure in the right area for the front, so weird things were happening inside. It just wasn't happy with life. So new lines, as you can see, we are 100% done with this brake system. Let's get some wheels on this thing, get the fuel system working, and then get a new cylinder on and move some snow. Alrighty, our fuel pump is off. The fuel coming out of it was kind of sticky, and I've been on that road before. Bronco. So I've gone ahead and hooked up an electric fuel pump. We're going to drain everything in the tank. And as you can see, it's nice and yellow. And it's just about that color of yellow that likes to stick valves. So we're going to get that tank emptied and keep flushing new gas through until that's coming up clear. And then we'll go ahead and put our new pump on and put a filter in line before it. Alright, you can't see it at all, and it was a huge pain in the ass, but our new fuel pump is in. Which means it is time for our last step on this thing, besides putting tires on and figuring out that it doesn't run or something. The guy I bought this pump from had these cylinders for me. He forgot to set them out that day that I picked the pump up, and I went, I shouldn't need those. Turns out, as you remember, I need those. So I finally had a chance this weekend to run up there and grab them. Basically, inside this housing, there's this giant rod. This is the old one. And it has a V-packing seal back here. And that seal is what makes, obviously, the seal. And drives your piston in and out. And this had deteriorated and rolled in on itself and got jammed up out of its groove or something to where it had seized the shaft itself. Well, I'm not anticipating these to really hold fluid. They probably both leak like hell. It's a miracle that one even moves. If you remember, this pump had stuck valves. Just like the old pump, they've been sitting for a while, so it's quite the gamble. But I'm gonna hook this up and hope that that thing moves. Let's find out. Okay, here we go. This works. Yes! Finally! I think I have a better line I can put on that one, so then I'll have new lines and this thing can just be done. It's not going to explode. I can carry on. Let's wrap this shit up. Okay, so after literally like a month of having this and working on it, we finally have a fuel pump in it. I got a fuel filter, as you can see right there in line. Nice easy access for if/when it plugs up. But yeah, for the first time since we've owned this for like a month and I've been working on it, it's time to hop in and turn the key and see if we really do have a good motor. We've ran it for little spurts and it seemed fine, but we still don't know if that carb's literally any good for like filling itself up. So here we go. Frickin' truck. Alright, battery charger's on. Let's try it again. Fill the bowls, we'll see if it catches and holds itself. I guess it was like right there, just needed a little more amperage. There's a good amount of valve noise under this valve cover, but I just don't care enough. It's a plow truck. It runs as long as it goes forward and somewhat backwards. We're gonna call it good. Just did a fluids check. Everything looks good. Got our air cleaner back on. Let's see if this thing will move. I need to move it back to get it untangled from the hoist. Do it. God damn it. Are you kidding me? Now the battery won't connect. Well, the transmission works, the plow works, the engine works. The brakes are still very soft. I'm truthfully running out of ideas. One thing I did never check, if you put a new master, and especially if you put a new booster on these, and your brakes seem to be functioning fine, but they're soft, even on their boost, they don't really feel like they're fully boosted. There's an adjustable rod on the back side of the master between the pedal and the actual plunger in the master. Sometimes you can lengthen that guy to eat up any slop, and life is a bit better. I'll play with it a little more, but at this point, once I get that sorted out, I think we're ready to go for a little drive. All right, I made an adjustment to that brake rod I had mentioned. Let's see if that does us any good. Another issue I might be having is the brakes just straight up aren't broken in at all. You have to do an embedment procedure for disc brakes, and it's usually on the box, especially if you buy my favorite brand, Power Stops, which I did not, because this truck wasn't worth the extra $12 for Power Stops. It's to the point now that I feel safe to drive home. I'll put it at that. And hopefully, over the course of me embedding these front brakes, they actually begin to stick. Because right now they're just sliding, is all they're doing, until they get enough heat and material transfer between the two surfaces, the disc and the pad. Then your brakes actually start working. All right, we got air in all the tires. We got gas in the tank. Everything is good to go. The last step here is to clean out the interior a little bit so it's bearable to drive down the road in. We cut off this seat cover, see what we're really dealing with underneath. It's not really doing us any good. And it's covering that beautiful seat. Look at that thing. That is in great shape, at least on this side. A little bit of a tear there, but it never hurt anybody, right? Okay, the passenger side's not bad. That looks a lot better in here already. Let me get the shop back and finish this up, and we'll come back for a tour. All right, a little time has passed. And here we have the inside of the truck. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, but our seat cleaned up beautifully. Our dash looks pretty darn good. This color's kind of growing on me. I found 5 quarts of oil. Gonna throw that all behind the seat, which is a great feature on these Fords, is you got plenty of room for oil back here. I took a whole bunch of shit out the back of the truck. Threw in some tires I need to take home, as well as all the buckets of gas we've accumulated over the last month or two. So essentially we now have a lime green IED. We're gonna take this down to the car wash and run her through and get her cleaned up. All right, take this sucker over to the car wash. Not bad for a pile of crap. Not half bad. I have successfully driven like 3 blocks, and I've had to put the plow back up twice. Hey, the speedometer works. Hell yeah. I think we're in at least second as well. Suddenly, everything's looking up for us. Well, to say there was no calamity would be a lie. This thing's making more and more ticking noises, but I'm sure those are fine. A good bath will definitely help. Let's get her cleaned up. All the crap down there, crap in the grill, bunch of shit on the hood. Just taking the raggedy old dollars. Oh, come on! There's nothing wrong with it, it's a perfectly fine $5 bill. 8 minutes will be just enough for me to get the machine wet, and then I won't accept any more money and I'll start over. Let's do it. Alright, you hunk of junk. Let's see what you really look like. I'm running out of time on the timer. Let's finish this up and we'll check it out at the end. Well, our interior's soaking wet and I'm freezing cold, but what do you expect? Hey, that ain't bad. Look cleaned up nice, got some great patina. Our grill came out amazing. Like, that is a beautiful grill. Not a scratch in it. Not bad looking at all for a plow truck. Let's get this sumbitch home. Really hope the heat works. Got our fresh case of Bush Light. Nice clean truck. Let's see if it starts. Oh, you big beautiful bastard. Do your dash lights work? Probably not. What about wipers? Oh, hell yeah. Not that they do the slightest bit of help. That's actually way worse. Look at Plow up. It's already seeping down. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Let's see how many mouse nests we get here. We got the frost. I'm gonna guess that's not really hooked up to anything. Brake test. Here we go. We're doing 30. Ooh, actually, those are really good. She's fixed. Hell yes. That last little rod adjustment and setting the pads a little bit as we're driving around has really helped. We've got good, strong brakes. We've also got a good, strong temp gauge there. I'm sure that giant plow is doing this thing no favors. You know what? I think this is the first stock 4x4 F100 I've driven. The only other ones have been lifted. This thing rides really good, especially for being just beat to piss its whole life to where it's still junk, even though I put weeks of work into it. But here we are. We're doing 45 down the road just fine. The steering is loose, to say the least. The plow keeps falling on the ground. There's no seal left in the window. The heat's stuck on the frost, but the temp gauge, oil, it's actively dying. Stay alive, you son of a bitch. Please stay alive. Especially don't die right here. This would be really inconvenient. 4 more miles. Come on. You can do this. I believe in you. Please do this. Oh, come on. Come on. Stay with me. Stay with me. No. No. We're losing fuel. Come on, you big piece of shit. You can do it. Okay, just make it to Denny's Road. That's all I ask. It's still somehow barely running. Come on. Come on. Oh, it's done. It's off. Go! Go, you big beautiful bastard. I just need a few hundred more feet, come on! I have no tools with me at all. Okay. We're on a side road. And it's still running somehow. Let's go see what's up. It's still running. Huh. Interesting. Where we push on, I don't know. We've got about 5 miles, and we've got a lot of hills. She's running okay as long as I don't ask for much. I literally never thought to check the alternator. So I've got all accessories turned off. Let's try this again. Well, it's told me this was already a mistake. Oh, it died. God damn it. Oh, there's the plow. Okay, let's see if I can get it back to that road. This truck really has been an adventure of firsts. For example, right now is the first time we've ever been broke down on the side of the road on the channel. And it turns out it's not a battery issue, because I can crank it all day long. So it must be fuel. Great. Come on, you son of a bitch. Come on. We can do it. I just need 3 more feet and I'm off the highway. Yes! Alright. A bit more. That'll do. Oh, whew. Okay, the stressful shit's over. Now I just gotta wait for the trailer. Okay, well, I fired it up because I was getting cold. Now it runs great. Nothing makes any sense. Let's try to take the back road home. Come on, you big funky piece of shit. Well, I made it 8 feet. I hate this truck. Alright, well, I have no idea what I did. I literally took the fuel line off, went, that's stupid, and put it back on. And we're driving down the road. So I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to keep going the direction I need to. I did smack the carburetor a few times and took the air cleaner off. But again, none of this should have done anything. Oh, there went a bunch of... Nope, yep, nope, it's back. It's dying again. Alright, I'll see you at the next breakdown point. Limping right along, moving slow, singing my broken truck song. Da 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 da. I got no fuel. Da 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 da. I think I'm gonna scrap it. Now we've made it 1 mile, and we've got like 6 to go. So, oh, not in the intersection, you big pile of hunkus. Come on, you can do it, little buddy. Come on, around the corner. There you go. If I hold my foot in just the right spot, it'll kind of run once in a while. Now doesn't seem to be once of those whiles, though. At least the one of the lights on the gear oh, it died. Sad now. Yep, not dealing with this shit tonight. Okay, let's flat tow this piece of shit home. Well, sure enough, fired it up to see if I'd have heat and power steering and brakes. It runs great now. I don't care, I'm not gonna try it. We're just gonna tow this damn thing home and shove it in a snowbank or a scrap pile or both. Why not both? Alright, we've driven a couple miles. This thing's gonna run it perfect for like 5 minutes. So I've unhooked it. We're gonna see if the problem is repeatable or if it's fixed. Because I need to know a few more things of what it's doing to think about this better. Driving stronger than ever. What the hell? The magic number is a mile. I'm losing her. Big lean backfire. I saw a fireball, so it's definitely a lean issue. We'll hook up and finish the rest of this drive and pick up the camera tomorrow when all the bullshit's over. There, I made it. So clearly this thing has some severe fuel supply issue that I think is a blockage in the lines, the tank pickup's bad, something. Usually cars sit for a while with bad gas and they'll develop tar in the bottom of the tank and you can drive for a while. But once that tar gets picked up and accumulates in the lines, you lose your ability to pick up fuel. Saw this really bad in the gold Oldsmobile we gave my dad, kind of the same scenario. But we went 250 miles before it happened, not 6. So, I don't really want to go through the work of dropping the tank on this thing. I might just find some kind of a fuel cell and soft line it in and call it good. I still intend to use this as a plow truck if I can get that fixed. But for all intents and purposes of this video, it's become a failure for multiple reasons. Obviously, reason one, the truck is a big pile of shit and it hates me. Hates me. Reason two, Iowa is having the weirdest winter I can remember to date. A month ago, we pulled this thing from its grave with the intentions to plow that snowstorm, which because of the truck being what it is, we could not get it done in time. We're like, no problem, we'll get the next one. It's never snowed again. It's 40 degrees out right now and it's supposed to be mid-50s this weekend. And it's still the middle of February. This is supposed to be winter. So, with that being said, there's no snow I can push. The best I can do is drop the blade and kind of slide backwards, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry our original intent was a failure, but we talked a lot of tech, went over some stuff we have not gone over before, and learned some things, and I hope that you guys were able to learn some things as well. So with that being said, we'll see you right here next week for another episode of Junkyard Digs. Peace.